You know, way up high on the slopes of northern Japan, in the absolute dead of winter, something incredible happens. An army of giants seems to just appear. Now, they're not alive, but they are one of the most breathtaking natural wonders you'll ever see. Today, we're going to dive into the amazing story of Japan's snow monsters.
Okay, so what in the world are these things, and how are they even made? Well, it turns out their very existence is this wild story of incredibly precise, super rare conditions all coming together at the exact perfect moment.
They're called Juhyo, which literally translates to frost-covered trees. But honestly, that's a huge understatement. This isn't just some light dusting of snow. Nope, this is a very specific phenomenon where supercooled water droplets, that's water that's technically below freezing but is still liquid, slam into these evergreen trees and freeze on impact, just instantly. And they build up layer after layer into this thick sculptural ice.
And the recipe to make one? Oh, it is unbelievably specific. It's not just any old tree. It has to be a very particular kind of fir, the Eomori Totematsu. Then you need these fierce, non-stop winds, a super narrow temperature window, and this unusual amount of moisture packed into the clouds. It's this perfect storm of conditions that makes the Juhyo so incredibly rare.
But these snow monsters are so much more than just a pretty sight. For the Zao Mountain Range, they're the main winter attraction. They basically support the entire local economy. We're talking hotels, restaurants, the whole shebang, by drawing in tens of thousands of tourists every single year.
But here's the thing. This absolutely spectacular phenomenon is now facing a really serious threat. Researchers and the locals who live there have started noticing this deeply troubling change on the mountainsides, a mystery that points to a fragile and really uncertain future.
And that all leads to the big question at the heart of this entire story. It's a question that has scientists and the whole local community worried. What if these incredible monsters were shrinking? And look, this isn't just a hunch. It's a measurable fact. Researchers have been comparing photos taken from the exact same spot over decades, and the trend is just undeniable. Back in the 1930s, these things were massive, like 5 to 6 meters wide. And today, many of them are less than half a meter across. It's a shocking difference. Professor Fumitaka Yanasawa, a guy who has studied the Juhyo for years, he puts it pretty starkly. He says that since 2019, many are half a meter or less. And his words really hit home. He says some are now barely columns. You could just feel the scale of the loss he's watching happen in real time.
So what's behind this dramatic disappearance? Well, the investigation shows it's not just one single thing. It's more like two major forces working together, a kind of 1-2 punch that's weakening these icy giants.
So it really comes down to two threats, attacking on two different fronts. First, a warming climate is messing up that perfect, delicate recipe we talked about earlier. And second, the actual trees that act as the skeletons for the monsters, well, they're being attacked by insects, leaving them weak and bare. The first threat can be summed up with a number, 2 degrees Celsius. That's how much the average winter temperature has gone up here in the last century. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but for something this sensitive, it has a massive impact. It's pushing the zone where Juhyo can even form higher up the mountain, and it's shortening the time they can survive.
And then you've got this direct assault on the forest. In 2013, a huge moth outbreak just stripped the trees of their needles. A couple years later, bark beetles moved in on those now weakened trees. The result is just devastating. Around 23,000 firs have died. And with fewer branches and needles, there's way less surface area for that precious ice to grab onto.
But this is not just a story about loss. Because in the face of all this, the local community, everyone from scientists and government officials all the way down to high school students, has started this incredible mission to fight back. And you can see how this revival effort has really started to build momentum. It started back in 2019 with transplanting some young saplings. Then in 2022, local students got involved, bringing all this new energy. And by 2023, it became this fully coordinated community mission with the launch of the Juhio Revival Conference. But this whole thing requires an unbelievable amount of patience. This is not a quick fix. The little fir trees they're planting today won't be big and strong enough to become giant snow monsters for another 50 to 70 years. Think about that. This is a mission they're doing for their children and their grandchildren. And right at the heart of this fight are students from Murayama Technical High School. These kids are on the front lines, literally. They're collecting saplings, they're experimenting with how to grow them at their school, and they're problem-solving in real time,
like having to deal with field mice that keep eating their precious seedlings. Their dedication is just truly inspiring.
So, what's really at stake here? I mean, this fight is about so much more than just saving some trees or a tourist spot. It's about preserving a totally unique and incredibly fragile piece of our planet's natural heritage.
As Kanon Taniai, one of those student scientists, puts it so perfectly, they are called snow monsters because nothing else looks like them. And right there, that's it. Ultimately, the fight to save the Juhyo is a fight to save that sense of pure wonder, and to make sure future generations can feel just how special nature can be.
And that really leaves us with this final, powerful question. The story of the snow monsters, it's like a small-scale version of a much larger challenge we all face. It really makes you ask, do we have the patience, the dedication, and the will to protect the world's most fragile wonders in the face of such immense change?